This is Peter Laws in Norman, Oklahoma. AM, FM, shortwave, amateur radio, and more. You'll hear all the latest news from the world of radio each week with Sheldon and Gilles on the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
Welcome, everyone, to the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal. It is Sunday, September the 17th, 2023. My name's Sheldon. Gilles is here with me, and we thank you for tuning in to our show. 30 minutes of news and information from the world of radio. You can reach us by email, radioreport@yahoo.com. We are live streaming and archived at the CKUT radio website. That's ckut.ca. Our Facebook group, International Radio Report, no new members this week. We're at 941 members, still working our way to that 1,000 mark. If you haven't joined yet, please consider doing so. Just search for International Radio Report on Facebook. Lots of great information there about our show and links to some of our stories. And you're invited to post up your own information there as well. Our YouTube channel, where you can go and find our shows at your convenience. It's found at IRR on YouTube. Just look for International Radio Report. You can subscribe there as well. We have 871 subscribers. And our new X account, formerly Twitter, at IRRCKUT. Just 24 followers there right now, but feel free to join in there. You'll have the links to the stories on our weekly broadcast, both in the YouTube video, in the description below the video, and also on the X account. So those are two ways that we can get around the Facebook regulations of putting links in our postings. So those are all the ways that you can track down our show and get the links to the stories that we cover on the program. So we will get going on this week's news. We have a number of different stories from around the world once again. Starting off, Gilles, you'll kick things off with a story from the United States.
Yes, sad story. Dick Bertel dies at the age of 92. This is via Radioworld. Dick Bertel, whose career included doing interviews for local radio and TV in Connecticut, anchoring national radio news and working at Voice of America, died on Monday at age 92. While still a Connecticut high school student, Bertel started his radio career in 1948, according to an obituary from Dick Bertel Communications. As he earned a degree in broadcasting from New York University, he worked for the next several years at Fairfield County Station in Norwalk, Greenwich, Bridgeport, and Stanford, before moving to Hartford, where he joined the announcing staff of WTIC and WTIC-FM in 1956. Bertel worked there for more than 2 decades as an air personality and interviewer. When WTIC launched a television station in 1957, Bertel added TV news anchor and public affairs host to his duties. In 1978, he was hired to manage Hartford's WKSS, then a beautiful music station, where he also hosted the morning show. Then in 1984, he relocated to Washington to work at the Voice of America. At VOA, he led affiliate relations for the VOA Europe network based in Munich and created the international call-in show Talk to America. He retired from VOA at age 75 in 2006. To keep his local broadcasting skills sharp, he also moonlighted as a news anchor at WTOP Radio until 1988, when Westwood One recruited him to anchor national newscasts for NBC Radio News and the Mutual Broadcasting System, according to the obituary. It said Bertel left a collection of interviews about pre-war golden age of radio network entertainment programming from the program The Golden Age of Radio that he hosted for 7 years at WTIC, featuring interviews with former radio stars about the days of early radio. So a lot of experience in radio broadcasting, a lot of different shows, different stations that we all pretty much know. And Voice of America, of course, on top of that. Sad to see that he passed away, unfortunately, but a great radio career from what we can see here.
Yeah, he really moved through the ranks and doing multiple jobs at the same time in some cases, and sought after by national networks and doing international work with VOA. I didn't know anything about those golden age of radio programs. They would have been interesting to listen to.
Yeah.
WTIC is in Hartford, still exists today on 1080 kilohertz. I know we can pick them up here quite easily in Montreal in the evenings. And I've certainly heard that station over the years, but I never came across the golden age of radio programs. Those I'm sure would have been really interesting to listen to. Maybe they're archived out there somewhere.
Yeah, definitely be nice. I remember listening quite a few times to Talk to America on the VOA. In our next news item, we've got a new schedule for the Mighty KBC. No, it's not gone. I've seen a few posts of people thinking that it's not there. No, it is there. It's via WRMI now. It has a different schedule. So this is thanks to Alan Roe via Glenn Hauser's World of Radio. The Dutch-based radio station, the Mighty KBC, posted the following message on their Facebook page. Starting Sunday, we're moving. And a new frequency for Europe. So Sunday on 5950 kilohertz, which is a great frequency in North America, by the way. This is from 0 to 01 UT. It's radio, but not as we know it, with Dave Mason. 01 to 02 is the Giant Jukebox with Eric Van Willigen. And, of course, they have a new time on Sunday for Europe on 15770 kilohertz. And, of course, 12 to 13 UTC, Giant Jukebox once again. So lots of frequencies here to listen to the show. Broadcasting from Okeechobee, Florida via WRMI, Radio Miami International. These are the times that have unfortunately been recently vacated by Texas Radio Shortwave. And there's some assumption that the above times are actually an addition to their existing broadcasts via WRMI in Okeechobee. So 0 to 02 Sunday, 9455, 02 to 03 Sunday, 5850, 02 to 03 Saturday, 5850, 08 to 09 UTC Saturday, 7780, 11 to 12 Friday, 15770, and 16 to 17 hours UTC on Wednesday, 15770. So this is thanks to Alan Roe in Teddington, UK. So it's nice to see that little expansion of the Mighty KBC, a very popular show. A lot of people love the Mighty KBC.
Yeah, I didn't know a lot about that station and the programming, but it's available on some domestic services as well.
Yeah.
A lot of them run it in an overnight show in some cities. So it's partially aimed at truckers in some cases. I was reading up a little bit about them, so interesting. So check them out if you've not heard them before. And particularly here in North America, you should be able to get those evening frequencies quite well, and check out the music programming that they have. The next story is interesting. It came via Radioworld, and it mentioned the Radio Club of America, which I had never heard of before, and I took some time to look into them a little bit as well. But the headline story is Radio Club of America announces 2023 award recipients and fellows awards. The Radio Club of America has announced this year's award recipients, as well as its incoming class of 2023 fellows. Since 1935, the Radio Club of America has recognized major contributors to wireless communications. This year, 13 awards are being presented, and 8 RCA members are being elevated to fellow status. The 2023 awards and fellow ceremonies will be held at the RCA Awards Banquet in Denver, Colorado, at the Hyatt Regency on November the 18th of 2023. Founded in 1909, the Radio Club of America is a 501c3 organization comprised of wireless communications professionals. RCA Awards recipients have dedicated significant time and talent towards the advancement or preservation of skills that advance the wireless industry, according to RCA. The awards are grouped in 2 broad categories: public awards for anyone involved in wireless, and member awards that are restricted to RCA members. RCA said it elevates members to fellow status based on the individual's contributions to RCA and to the art and sciences of wireless or broadcast communications. Nominations are accepted from anyone in the wireless industry. So there's quite a long list of awards here, and I think they're worth mentioning because they're probably people you've not heard of, broadcasting in the wireless industry, kind of behind the scenes in some cases. But the Radio Club of America sees fit to recognize these people and pass along awards. So we'll recognize them here in reviewing this article. The first, A.J. Potter, the winner of the Armstrong Medal. This award is only bestowed when an individual has demonstrated excellence and made lasting contributions to the arts and sciences of radio. Eugene Tan, the Jerry B. Minter Award. This award, established in 1996, recognizes innovative work in instrumentation, avionics, and electronics. Lynn Bisha, the Ralph Batcher Memorial Award, established in 1976. This award is presented to an RCA member for their significant work in preserving the history of radio and electronic communications. Stephen Nichols wins the Edgar F. Johnson Pioneer Citation. That was established in 1975. The award recognizes longtime RCA members who have either made noteworthy contributions to the success of RCA or to the radio industry. Ted Henry, the Alfred H. Grebe Award, established in 1994. This award recognizes significant achievements of excellence in the engineering and manufacturing of radio equipment. Alan Tilley's RCA Special Recognition Award. This award is given in recognition of dedicated service to the Radio Club of America. Ray Novak, the RCA Special Service Award. The award recognizes those RCA members who have performed significant work to advance the goals and objectives of the Radio Club of America. Chuck Souliard, the Lee DeForest Award. This award is presented to an individual who has made significant contributions to the advancement of radio communications. Steve Floyd, the Sarnoff Citation, is named after the Radio Corporation of America's David Sarnoff, recognizes exceptional contributions of a technical or non-technical nature to the advancement of electronics and communications. Tim Duffy and DX Systems wins the RCA Small Business Award. This award recognizes a business that produces a product for the wireless industry or provides a service to the wireless industry. Ted Sheckelway, the J. Kitchen Leadership Award. This award recognizes an individual who embodies the following characteristics: energetic advocacy, cooperation, avid interest and respect for all, and humor, and for someone who has achieved a high level of success leading a wireless association, government agency, or commercial enterprise. Karen Clark, the RCA President's Award, honors individuals who, in the opinion of the president, have demonstrated unselfish dedication to the work of the Radio Club of America. And Ruth Willett, the Carol Perry Young Professional Award, is a new award established to honor a young professional who was part of the RCA Youth Activities Program in their formative years and has gone on to a career in the wireless science. And they go on to list the names of their RCA fellows who have been elevated to fellow status in 2023. Angela Beatty, John Paul Beauchamp, Jeff Bratcher, Cheryl Giggets, Walter Tom Lowney Jr., Michael J. Pappas, Chester Barney Scholl, and Philip Kirmus. Some names in there that we even recognize from the awards. Sarnoff, certainly a big name in radio. Lee DeForest as well. A lot of these people doing work, electronics, communications, radio, the radio industry, manufacturing of products, electronics, communications equipment. Really nice to see that someone is paying attention to all these people, issuing awards for them. We'll put up a link, and you should actually check out the Radio Club of America as well. It's quite an interesting organization, been around for quite a long time, and they do some pretty interesting things as well.
It's interesting because the name rang a bell when I saw it, but I clearly did not realize how this really catered to professional radio personalities. So it's kind of interesting to see, and I mean, a lot of the people in there doing some getting recognized for some really big achievements in radio communications of all sorts. So congratulations to all of the recipients here.
And as I said, we'll put up a link for the story itself, and then you can also look up the Radio Club of America and read more about them. It is a members-only association. You can become a member. They give you all the details about joining and what have you. But certainly something, if you're interested in radio, electronics, communications, you may want to take a look at.
So what's happening with our sun? Well, the sun was quite active this week. Several solar flares of varying degree from C to M class flares. And one of the things that happened this week is quite a few times we had some G1 to G2 class geomagnetic storms that were often a surprise. We weren't expecting them really. But it's also something that is easy to happen in September. When we're near the equinox, I mean, during this week, we are going to move from summer to the fall. And this is a period where the alignment of the Earth and the Sun makes it quite easy for even some solar wind to create some geomagnetic storms. Today, actually, we should have a possibility of G1 to G2 geomagnetic storming due to a coronal mass ejection. So if conditions are not up to what you expect today, maybe go out and check out if you see auroras. And during the week, will be probably the same kind of conditions as there's a growing sunspot, AR3429. It has a mixed polarity, and mixed polarity usually means more flaring. So there should be some unsettled conditions in there, mixed in with, of course, good propagation when the conditions get quiet. Sunspot number 110. The radio solar flux is 145. And, well, you know what? If you want to witness all of this, of course, there's one thing you could do. Go to spaceweather.com where you get a lot of information on the solar activity. But you can also witness with a radio. But you got to turn it on.
This is Glenn Hauser. You're listening to the International Radio Report. 30 minutes of radio news and information every Sunday morning on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal and online at ckut.ca.
So in our next news item, we have a new station in Mexico City that's making a radio for social media and filling local news gaps. This is by Tameez, Neiman Labs via Radioworld. What happens when a capital city of 22 million people and 16 boroughs doesn't have enough local news sources to cover its massiveness? Welcome to Mexico City, Mexico, where this is a reality that a new radio station is trying to address. Radio Shilango on 105.3 FM, launched on August 28th, is the newest wing of Shilango, a news and culture magazine covering Mexico City. The station is starting off with 4 shows. The morning show discusses need-to-know news for the day, along with tips for surviving the unique challenges of the megalopolis, the traffic, the air pollution, gentrification, the works. Sopitas is an arts, culture, and technology show. Vamo Tranqui tells listeners about upcoming events and explains current local trends and issues. Esto no es un noticiero explains national and international stories with humor in lay terms. All of the shows are between 1 and 2 hours each and feature interviews and talk segments with local experts, officials, journalists, and others. Mexico City isn't exactly a news desert. Almost all of the country's leading national news outlets across print, digital, TV, and radio are headquartered in the capital. Legacy daily newspapers like Reforma, Milenio, and Excelsior once had robust metro desks, but their numbers have dwindled in recent years. City coverage across mediums often centers around crime, public safety, and politics, while other local issues get covered through a national lens. The whole idea of this first launch is to show that we aren't and do not want to be like the traditional radio stations in Mexico. According to a 2022 national study from Mexico's Federal Telecommunications Institute, 38% of survey respondents reported listening to the radio. Of those, 41% reported listening to the radio for news, making it the second most popular category after music. 70% of radio listeners said they regularly tune in between 6 a.m. to noon. Radio in Mexico City is still an important form of communication. The people who travel by car, commuters, taxi drivers, Uber passengers, and drivers are listening to the radio all the time. There was no station dedicated to what happens in a city of 22 million residents. Along with broadcasting via radio Shilango is streamable on its website and is working on streaming on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. YouTube and TikTok are the fastest growing platforms for news in Mexico, and a WhatsApp channel. All of the shows are recorded as podcasts, and they are also filmed. The news briefs and discussions are edited and repackaged into short videos for TikTok and Instagram. So this is good. I mean, sometimes, even though there could be a lot of news outlets in a big city like Mexico City, for example, maybe you're missing out on a specific audience or a specific area of the news. I think that's what they're trying to do here, is to fill in the gaps of all the news that we never talk about.
Yeah, if you take a look in the World Radio TV Handbook under Mexico, you'll see how important radio is in Mexico. There are just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of both AM and FM radio stations in the country. But it looks like this station in particular has tried to find a little niche in the market to supply some things that are maybe missing in other radio services. So nice to see. We'll put a link up. You can check them out. Radio Shilango. I did check out their website, and the audio is streaming there. It is, of course, in Spanish for the Mexican population, but something you might want to check out. There actually used to be a Radio Mexico International many years ago. There's still, one or two shortwave outlets out of Mexico. Radio Educación is one that we do hear from time to time. But this one is only an FM service, but at least you can go online and check them out as well if you're interested. Next story comes to us from Alan Roe in Teddington in the UK. Now, this is something that Alan works on diligently and puts together, releases it quite regularly. If you like music, you'll want to take a look at this. It is called Music Programs on Shortwave. His version 6 is now available for the A23 broadcast season. An updated version of my Music Programs on Shortwave PDF file, version 6, for the current A23 broadcast season is now available to download from a permanent link. We'll post up that link for you. I hope that you find it of interest. This will be the final major update for this list for the A23 season, although there may be a minor or incremental update in late September, early October, which will be found at the same links. The first issue of the B23 broadcast season will be early to mid-November. As always, Alan appreciates any updates or corrections. And I put this note in. I took a look at the report, and this has got to be an amazing amount of work that Alan puts in. The document has 36 pages of music programming information, including the time, the station names, the languages, the program titles, and the shortwave frequencies where you can find them. It's an incredible resource that Alan puts together. I'm sure this is a labor of love on his part. He must work endless hours on putting this together. So thanks to Alan for all of his continued efforts, and we hope you take the time to go take a look at it. And I'm sure you'll be quite surprised at just how many shortwave music programs there are out there. And you can spend some time with that, check them out, and let Alan know. what you think of the list, and if you have any others that maybe you come across that he may not have noticed. Although I kind of doubt that. If he's got 36 pages worth, I don't know how he finds them all, but I'm sure it takes an awful lot of time.
Yeah, definitely a great list. And, I get this from time to time. Any music shows on shortwave and so on? Well, yes, absolutely. You can see it on that list. Yeah.
One thing I didn't put in our notes today, but I should mention it, 2 natural disasters taking place in the world. Well, more than 2. There's others. There's some hurricanes going on right now as we speak as well. The Hurricane WatchNet is a place you can go check that out, and any of the local areas being affected. But Libya and Morocco both going through just unimaginable natural disasters with storms and earthquakes and what have you. Unfortunately, neither of those stations have any international service. Those countries, I should say, have international services that we can monitor. But again, you can check around the area. BBC, of course, always has updates on major stories like that. So we can't give you any direct frequencies for the 2 countries. But again, things like Radio Garden, where you can go and listen to domestic services if you understand the languages. You will get some French broadcasts out of Morocco, so those you might be able to follow. Libya, limited in how much is coming out of Libya media-wise, but worth checking out, different sources online, SDRs, to monitor from the area. There's even some local TV that's popping up that have been shown available on the internet as well.
2 times that I have for the BBC, if you're in North America, because they have really good, extensive coverage. I mean, it's the BBC. They're always good at what they do. 12095 kilohertz. Focus on that frequency. It has 2 times where in the afternoon, late afternoon here in the East Coast, 12095 is pretty good around 21 hours UTC. They have, I think it's at 20, where they have the News Hour Bulletin, which has a lot of news of what's happening around the world. And there's another one called Newsday, and that one is good pretty much all across North America. Also on 12095, that one's coming from Madagascar, and that's 04 to 05 UTC. So we have upcoming ham radio contests.
We have 2 for you coming up next weekend. The first one, fairly large one if you're into radio teletype, CQ Worldwide DX Contest, RTTY. It's running from 0000 Zulu September 23rd to 2359 Zulu September 24th. It's organized by CQ Magazine. The objective is for amateurs around the world to contact as many other amateurs in as many CQ zones, countries, and W or VE QTHs as possible. It's operating in 5 bands, 3.5, 7, 14, 21, and 28. And they remind you to observe the established band plans. That is strongly encouraged. The mode, as we said, RTTY.
There's the Maine QSO Party, 1200 Zulu September 23 to 1200 Zulu September 24th, organized by the Wireless Society of Southern Maine. It's 160 through 10 meters without the work bands, and the modes CW, phone, and SSB, FM, and AM accepted.
All right. Lots of information for you again this week. We thank you for tuning in. Any information you would like to share with us, you can email us radioreport@yahoo.com, or just go on Facebook and post your story straight to the Facebook group if you like. And we appreciate your input about the show, questions, comments, suggestions, criticism, anything at all. We'd love to hear from you. So give us a shout through any of those sources that you can reach us. That will do it. Have a great week, everybody. We'll talk to you again next week with our next edition of the International Radio Report. We're on CKUT 90.3 FM in the city of Montreal. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.
En el aire.
On air.
Desde México.
From Mexico.
Hacia el mundo.
To the world.
XERMX.
Radio México Internacional.
Emisora de onda corta del Instituto Mexicano de la Radio.
Reducing the distances.
Hablándote.
Talking